Across California, a law called Mello-Roos allows special districts, nearly all in new developments, to charge homeowners thousands of dollars a year to build new schools, buy buses, even pay for iPads. Here's a look at one San Diego neighborhood that benefits from the extra tax dollars. About 7 miles east of the coast near Black Mountain Road is a new neighborhood called Del Sur. Homes can cost up to $1 million. The neighborhood has 5 swimming pools, parks, and views of the county's rolling hills. But the biggest draw here are the schools. Despite being in the city of San Diego, schools here belong to the acclaimed Poway Unified School District. The elementary school, at first glance, looks more like a country club. It's a public school, but the people who buy homes in this neighborhood pay extra taxes so their kids can attend.
We love the neighborhood, loved the school, and agreed it was well worth it. It's like a private education.
And how much extra do you pay for that, though, on your taxes?
You know, we haven't got a bill yet, but I think it's $700, $800, I believe.
That's $700 or $800 a month in extra property taxes. The tax is called a Mello-Roos, named after 2 California legislators who came up with the idea in the early 80s. It allows landowners, usually a small group of developers, to create mini governments that have the power to collect taxes from the people who buy their homes. About 1 in every 10 San Diego property owners pays a Mello-Roos, ranging from $50 to as much as $13,000 per home per year. Some of the money pays for roads and sewer lines, but most of it pays for schools. Poway Unified collected more than $40 million in extra taxes from homeowners last year alone. Rocky Roy's son is in kindergarten at Del Sur Elementary. Roy pays more than $5,000 a year in Mello-Roos taxes.
I don't really agree with the idea that, developers can just dictate what's going to happen and what they're going to have here. I think it definitely should have more of a democratic process and have the parents involved.
I-Newsource reporter and data specialist Kevin Crowe joins me. He has been gathering and analyzing Mello-Roos data. Now, Kevin, we're going to get to the numbers soon, but first of all, as we just heard in the story, developers get to form mini governments and charge people taxes. How does that work?
Right. So developers need to build communities around the houses they want to sell. So they need things like sewers, schools, maybe some pools. And so they form these little governments, and they can then issue bonds to pay for all of that new infrastructure, and then they pass the cost of those bonds on to the new homeowners.
Now, in California, isn't there supposed to be a 2/3 majority vote for any new tax? How come there's no public vote when it comes to Mello-Roos?
Well, there is a public vote, because when those developers get together, and there's usually only a few, and sometimes there can be only one, they take a public vote to essentially raise taxes on themselves and their property, because they're the landowners, and then the people who move into those land and buy the houses, they sign agreements saying that they know about the tax, but then the tax is theirs.
Like 3 developers take a vote?
Yes.
And that's considered a public vote?
Correct.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are affected by Mello-Roos. I want to show some numbers to the people at home. Now, it's 1 in 10 properties, let's have a look, encumbered by Mello-Roos. 1 in 10. Kevin, do we know how many properties that amounts to?
It's a little bit more than 100,000 properties.
And this isn't just homeowners, right? It's business owners?
No, it's homeowners, business owners, commercial. So there are different fees depending on the size of your house, where it's located, but yeah.
Okay, we heard in the story, we had an example of what people are paying. Let's look at these numbers again, because I think this is sort of a big part of the story now. People are paying per year between $50 and $13,000 per year per home. Full disclosure here, I'm in the Poway Unified District. I have a Mello-Roos. Mine is $800 a year. Now, is there a limit to how much people can be charged in Mello-Roos?
Well, there is, and there's a formula that the developers, create to, check out these taxes and establish those. And so that formula already has your 1% assessed tax, that goes to the county. That's already in there. Your taxes typically cannot be more than 2% total. Okay. So all of the Mello-Roos figured into that, it may be somewhere in the neighborhood of 0.5% or 0.75%.
So normally it wouldn't be more than what your normal property tax bill is?
Right.
Okay. So what's this money being spent on? I know in the introduction to that story we heard iPads. Really?
Yes, iPads. So typically it goes for schools, like actual infrastructure. So buildings, maybe some practice fields, maybe some pools, depending on where you are and what the design of the school is. But it can also be used for things like technology, school buses, iPads.
Basically anything that a school can say has a life of 5 years.
5 years or more.
Now, we haven't got a lot of time left, but I know you've been working on this analysis for a long time. What about oversight? Who is keeping track of all of this money?
Well, the state keeps track of some of the debt that they issue, and then the county keeps track of the taxes that they collect. But in terms of how they actually spend the money, it's typically just the school boards and then concerned citizens.
Okay, Kevin Crowe from I-Newsource, thank you so much. There's a lot more of your reporting at kpbs.org.
Thank you.